Are you making the same New Year's resolutions every year, year over year? Are you taking a look at your life and saying, gosh, I really wish that I could change this behavior year after year after year? Is it the same few things that keep popping up year after year after year that you want to change and you just really can't get a handle on it? Well, Podsters, this is the episode where we are going to get real, we are going to get tactical, and we are going to get really direct and simple on three simple things, not as simple to execute, but three simple things you can get rid of in order to thrive in 25. This is an action-packed, condensed micro episode so that finally, you can stop the madness, stop making the same resolutions year over year over year, take action, make the change, do the thing. This is the episode. Buckle up, Podsters, because it's about to get really real around here. Are you ready to speak up, stand out, and get your seat at the table? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to Unmute Yourself, the podcast where you'll get real-life anecdotes and actionable tools for you to step into your strengths, debunk imposter syndrome, truly know your worth, and show up like you own the room every time. I'm your host, Nancy Medoff, who did the thing and followed my passion for empowering women like you to unleash that inner spark and become who you know you are meant to be. I'm a diehard foodie with a raging Skittles habit who will not stop until women everywhere unmute themselves and truly thrive at work, at home, or wherever you may be. Let's do this. Hey, Podsters, we're back, and I am so excited for this week's episode. First of all, how did you do with National Quitters Day, which, by the way, I think it's a little inappropriate. I don't like that. I think it's a negative holiday. So whoever invented that, I don't like it. How are you doing with your resolutions, Podsters? Because that's one of the things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about why I don't make resolutions, and instead I choose a word. Good news, the word has been chosen, and we're going to talk about it today. And more importantly, we are going to discuss three things that you can get rid of, lose, abandon, toss, in order for you to thrive in 25. Are you ready, Podsters? Because this is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I've been doing a lot of thinking over the holidays. I took a lot of time off, as I hope you did as well. And here's what's really cool. I took a lot of time off and I had this, list of things I wanted to do. And I don't really think I achieved anything on that list. Maybe a few things I achieved. And the reason is because I really made a conscious decision to spend quality time with people and to say yes to experiences and people and relationships and nurturing these relationships rather than, oh, I can't, I have to do this. So while I might not have achieved all the goals that I had for the couple of weeks, the tactical goals like clean up my folders and clean my office and all that stuff, I did really enjoy quality time with quality people. And to me, that's what life is all about. So let's talk about why I don't use the word resolutions and why I don't make resolutions. So first of all, the word resolution itself, I am going to resolve to do this. It's stressful for me. I don't like the word. Frankly, I think it might be a little triggering. If you think about it, when you talk about resolving, for me, this brings up like gritting my teeth and willpower and resolve, and I'm going to steel myself to do this. Lighten up. Who wants to live like that? No. Instead, I like to make intentions. And I don't mean I'm standing on the side of a mountain with my hair blowing and a beautiful flowy skirt manifesting abundance. That's not what I mean. I mean, really, this is how I am intending. My intentions for myself or for my career, for my business, for my relationships. These are my intentions for 2025. It's softer. It's definitely more aligned with how I want to live. Again, who wants to live with, I resolve to do this? No fun in that, Podsters. So give yourself a break. And if you haven't made resolutions or if you made resolutions and you don't like them, toss them out, start again, and make some intentions. So I don't make resolutions. I choose a word. And this started, I was actually talking with a friend of mine, one of the people that I chose to spend quality time with over the holidays. And I talked about why I choose a word. And this all started, I don't remember, some of you may not remember Susie Welch. She is Jack Welch's wife and on her own, a very successful business person. If you don't know who Jack Welch is, he was the former CEO of General Electric many, many years ago. Anyway, I saw her on an interview. This is probably 20 years ago. And she said, I don't really make resolutions. Instead, I pick a word, and that's kind of my true north for the year. I'm sure many of you have heard of this. I'm sure many of you choose your words. Yeah, I've heard from many of you. You've already chosen them. I love it. And instead, it's a word or a phrase to kind of take you through the year. Here is how I want to live. Here's who I want to be. Here's what I want to see in this year. So here's the thing, Podsters. It is not always easy to figure out what your word's going to be. And there are years that I've been like, boom, that's my word. Thrive was my word. Actually, several years. It's one of my favorite words. Shine was a word. I can't remember the other ones, but usually, or in the past, they have come to me pretty effortlessly. And this year, I was able to figure it out right around the new year, right around the start of the new year. But if I couldn't, I couldn't. So last year, I really struggled to find my word. And we're going to get into that in a minute when I talk about the 3 things you can let go of to thrive in 25. So the reason why I'm telling you this, Podsters, is because if you're struggling with coming up with a word, don't force it. Do not force it. Maybe pick one for the month, or maybe decide you'll pick one in February, or maybe brainstorm a whole bunch of words and never go back to them. If it's not working for you, it's not working for you. It's okay. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because last year I chose a word, and my word, you may recall, was ease, EASE. And I believe very, very strongly in the power of intention and the power of choosing a word. And I can tell you with certainty, there is nothing that was ease in my life last year. It was extraordinarily busy. I pushed myself professionally to all new levels. I pushed myself personally to all new levels. It was nonstop. It was very productive, and I was happy, and it was a good year. Nothing about my year said ease. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because when I chose it was more about what I wanted, not how I wanted to live. And I don't know if that really makes sense. So before I get into it too much, I'm going to hold and get into it when we go into the 3 things you can let go of. So anyway, my word for this year is simplify. And there was a lot of iterations of this word, my friends. There was, should it be a verb? Should it be a noun? Should it be simplicity? Should it be simple? Should it be blah, 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 all these things. And then I would brainstorm which word. Should it be clarity? Should it be clear? Focus? Refresh? Anyway, so I chose simplify. And here's why I chose simplify. Every year, I say that I want to simplify my life. Every year, I say I want to allow more time for the things that I love to do. Every year, I say I want to stop overcommitting. Every year, I purge and, get rid of a bunch of things. I donate a bunch of things, or I, repurpose a bunch of things, whatever the case may be. And it happens every year. So something's not working. I don't know what it is, but something's not working. And I find that there are not a lot of things in my life that I approach in a simple manner. And I want to change that. So I gave it a lot of thought, and I went with simplify. What that means to me is fewer things, and I'm going to talk about that when we get into the rest of the episode. To me, it means not overcomplicating things. It means letting go of perfectionism. You can't be simple and perfect. I mean, maybe you can, actually, you probably can, but I can't be simple and perfect. I can't simplify and also have perfect. I can simplify and have good enough. I can simplify and have happy. I can simplify and get it done. But this perfectionism really holds a lot of us back. So for me, simplify or simplicity equals clarity, and clarity equals simplicity. And I'm taking a look at my business, I'm taking a look at my life, and I'm taking a look at how do I want to change my business? How do I want to change my life? And in order to get to that clarity, I need to simplify. I need to get rid of the noise. I need to get rid of the clutter in my head. I need to get rid of the clutter in my home. I need to and by the way, I'm not like a hoarder. I love my home, but there's things that they've just been lying around and they don't serve me anymore. So I'm going to simplify a lot of things. Okay. So that was a pretty long explanation of why I want to simplify. And I'm putting it out there, Podsters, because I want you to hold me accountable. I hold you accountable. I hold my email community accountable. I hold my clients accountable. I want you to hold me accountable. And if you see me going down a rabbit hole of the opposite of simplicity, call me out. Call me out. Send me a note. Hit me up on Instagram, whatever the case may be, because we are here for each other. This community is here for each other. And I need you to keep me accountable. All right. So simplify is my word. And here's the thing. I'm excited about it. You have to feel excited about your word. I liked the word ease last year, but something internally told me that was not going to be possible. And I blew it off. I didn't listen to the little voice in my head. And I ended up not being able to live this truth that I wanted for myself. All right. So simplify. All right. Let me know what your word is. Shoot me a note. Hit me up on Instagram, LinkedIn, the Facebook, all the things. All right. Let's talk about 3 things that you can get rid of or let go of. 3 things you can let go of in order to thrive in 2025. I'm pretty passionate about these, and I spent a lot of time thinking about these and really honing in on the messaging on this. So, number 1, non-reciprocal. I believe in it so much and it's so important. I spent so much time on it. I can't speak it. Non-reciprocal relationships. Here's what I mean by that. No more non-reciprocal effort or energy. So I mean this with your friends, with your family, with clients, with coworkers. If the energy you put into a relationship is highly disproportionate on an ongoing basis to the energy you get back or the intention you get back or the investment that you get back, might be time to take a look at this. So, as I said, this is cyclical. It ebbs and flows. Sometimes you put more effort into, let's say, your marriage, or you feel like you put more effort into your marriage than your partner is. Could be a lot going on with that other person. Even friends, it ebbs and flows. Your family ebbs and flows. And if you're comfortable with that, great, no problem. If you're not, and if you continue to feel that you are putting more effort into a relationship than the other person is, it's time to let go. It's time to let go of that. Here's why. If this continues to happen, you will continue to feel less than. You will always feel disappointed. And you're always going to be chasing that person or that outcome or that feeling that you want or that return on investment that's lacking. And we don't chase over here at Unmute Yourself, the podcast. No, we do not. We do not chase, we attract. You're always going to feel an imbalance. And that's not a nice way to live. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. If you are in a relationship that you feel is continuously non-reciprocal. One, you can have the conversation and you can try to bridge that gap. That could be something like, Maureen, I feel like I'm always the one that makes plans and that I'm the one that researches where we're going to go, the restaurant or the trip or the whatever, the walk we're going to take. And it would really make me feel better if you took over that task sometimes, or if you sometimes contributed to that or contributed to that a little bit more. Now, I'm just pulling this out of the air. I'm just making this up. It could be something like if it's with your partner or someone that's really significant in your life, it could be, I feel like, and I would stay away from words like always, you always, I always. Those are not great words to use. You could say more often than not, or more frequently, I am the one who blah, blah, blah. Or I feel like you could even say, I feel like the energy dynamics in our relationship are such that I'm usually the one that's responsible for blah, 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 blah. And I would really like you to take on more of that. That's all. It would make me feel that you're more invested in this relationship if you were to do this, that, or the other thing. Again, I am making this up. You should and can say it however works for you. So you have the conversation and you can try to bridge that gap. Or if that doesn't work, or if you don't want to do that, you can simply let go of the relationship. And that doesn't mean there's a declaration of letting go of the relationship. You could simply spend less time with that person. You could scale back on the energy or the effort that you're putting into the relationship so that it's more reciprocal. Here's an idea. You could say, you know what? I'm going to have my energy level match their energy level in this relationship and see what happens. It might just fade out. And okay. I mean, if you were feeling that unbalance or that imbalance and it wasn't bringing you joy and it wasn't something that you wanted to feel, all right. So see what happens. All right. So that's number one. Letting go of non-reciprocal relationships. Okay. Number two, and this one might get a little dicey. I'm going to do my best to explain this. Expectations. And here's why it's dicey. I'm not saying that you should lower your standards at all. I'm not saying that you should not hold people accountable. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that letting go of unrealistic or unfair expectations will really, really enable you to thrive and be happier and be more joyful and live the life that you want to live. Think about it. If you constantly stick or resolutely stick, see what I did there? Resolutions. If you're like, nope, I'm going to stick to this expectation. This is my expectation of this person. Doesn't matter what's happened in the past, or this is my expectation of myself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. No one, including yourself, nothing can constantly meet these expectations if they're not realistic or if they're, not really practical. Most importantly are the expectations with yourself. And we've talked about this a lot on this podcast. If you continually create unrealistic expectations for yourself, you will continually be frustrated or disappointed. And again, I'm not saying to lower your standards or to aim lower. That's not it. Aim high and be realistic in the expectation of when you can reach that goal or do that thing, whatever it may be. So this brings us back to ease. I am really pissed off. I can't think of a better word. I'm angry that I invested this time and energy into ease last year and nothing was ease. And this is because the expectation of finding or bringing in more ease in my life was not aligned with my goals and my values for the year. I knew that I was going to be extraordinarily busy. I knew that I was going to be running for a political position. I knew that I'd just come off my best year in my business. So I knew that my business was going to be thriving. So I want more ease in my life. Sure, you can have both. You can have ease and grow your business. You can have ease and grow your career. And at the same time, I knew that campaigning was going to be rigorous. The election was going to be rigorous. Learning this new role was going to be rigorous. Maintaining my business while doing all this I knew it. I knew this. So my expectations were out of whack with my goals for what I wanted. And it set me up for a year of being really frustrated. And I don't want that to happen to you, Podsters. I don't want that to happen to you. So I wish my life has more ease. I want my life to have more ease was not a realistic expectation. That's why I feel so passionately about this. So the minute you let go of that expectation, you're gonna be a lot easier on yourself, and you're gonna find what works without beating yourself up about it. The third thing you're gonna let go of in order to thrive, and this is something that I'm really interested to see how this works for you. It's one word, and the word that you are going to let go of is should. With should comes expectations. With should comes shame if you don't. I really should do this. Well, what if you don't? Then you start feeling shame. Then you start feeling guilt. Then you start feeling obligation. Then you start feeling, and actually I was going to say obligation is the third thing to get rid of. That we don't always have that luxury. So it's the word should. I would replace that with like to, instead of, I really should make sure I'm walking 10,000 steps a day. I would really like to make sure I'm walking 10,000 steps a day. I would really like to ensure I'm walking 10,000 steps a day. I would really like to walk 10,000 steps a day. That should, it sets off the shame spiral or cycle in our brain, whether or not it's there or not. It sets that off. And then if you don't do it, you start beating yourself up. I think we should banish it from the English language personally. So let go of the shoulds and replace it with something else. Want to, would like to, plan to, whatever words work for you. So 3 things you can let go of in order to thrive in 2025. Number 1, non-reciprocal relationships. I dare you to say that 3 times fast. 2, unrealistic expectations. And 3, should-haves. Should. The word should. Okay, so here's what I would like to leave you with, Podsters. If one of these didn't resonate or all of them aren't resonating, I'm going to make a suggestion, and I'm going to give you a link to a very easy tool. You don't need this. You can just do this yourself. I do this every year. I actually did it with Danny, and I did it over a several day time period, and it was really kind of cool. So take out a piece of paper, make 3 columns, more, less, same. And you've heard me suggest this before. What do I want more of in my life? What do I want less of in my life? And what do I want the same? Like, what's working really great? The way I did this with my husband was I took a big sketch pad and I wrote more, less, same. And I would ask him, when we were having a nice intimate morning moment or a nice quiet morning moment, I would say, honey, what do you want to see more of this year? And then a couple of days later, I'd say, what do you want to see less of? And then I put it up in our home, and I would walk by and add to it and kind of keep this running tally for a few days and then kind of hone that in. But anyway, you don't need to do that. Pull out a piece of paper, more, less, same. And if one, 2, or some of these things that I suggest you can let go of to thrive in 25, if they're not resonating, do the more, less, same, go to your less column and pick one of these things that you want to see less of. So that is something you can let go of. Maybe it's, I don't know, snacking after 10 p.m. I don't know, less snacking after 10 p.m. Okay, so get rid of snacking after 10 p.m. Take a look at what's in your less column. These are really great indicators of what you are going to get rid of to thrive in 2025. So Podsters, that was a lot to unpack. I told you I've been thinking about this a lot. I am so excited for this coming year. Last week we had a really powerful guest speaker, Kathleen Lawson. I just renamed her, Kathleen Lawson, who is awesome, and talk with us about how to achieve your goals. Coming up, I have a organization specialist, and I also have a style and wardrobe specialist who's going to talk with us about how your style is really your competitive advantage. All of this is coming up in the next few weeks. I love you, Podsters. Peace out. I will see you next week. That's a wrap, Podsters. And before we go, I ask you, what's one thing from today's episode that you will use this week to unmute yourself? DM me, email me, send a smoke signal, whatever you need to do. Let me know what you're going to do differently. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone you know and leave a 5-star review on Apple. This helps me spread our message of empowerment to more people worldwide. Let's do this.